All right, next topic, and you alluded to it earlier. This was a listener, one from Instagram. Thanks so much to the audience. Basically the shorthand is, will Western states be more compelling than UTMB next year? They didn't offer any like preface. I'm presuming it's because there's the chance that UTMB, CCC, OCC, they could get filtered by the World Championships being so close 3 weeks after the fact. So what do you think?
So I wrote that I think from a US viewership standpoint, yes, Western states will be more compelling than UTMB, just because of some of the storylines that are starting to shape up. Most recently, though, with Kilian Jornet registering for, was it Chianti by UTMB, which is a golden ticket race. I listened to his podcast with Dylan on Free Trail, and basically Kilian said, like, yes, I'm trying to get a golden ticket, and like they're expecting him and his wife Emily, they're expecting a third child. So he's like, he didn't say like I'm going to run Western states at all costs, but he's like, I'm going to train, I'm going to try and get a golden ticket, and then I want to have the option to race Western states, but that'll be contingent on a lot of other life circumstances. So, you know, if we get to assume everything goes the way it's supposed to, we will see Kilian Jornet on the start line. How many years after? 15 years post Unbreakable.
15 years post Unbreakable, and then I think he came back a year or two after Unbreakable.
He came the next year
and won. So
yeah,
he's a winner.
2011
he's a winner here. Yeah.
But it's changed so much. I guess where I was going with that is Kilian gets the global viewership. So I think if Kilian's on the start line of Western states and not on the start line of UTMB, I could see the global viewership being bigger for Western states this year.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, just like the Courtney effect, the Kilian effect.
That is so cool that there is a very strong chance that, well, and I don't want to overstep. I do wonder, even if Kilian's on this start line and Courtney's on Cocodona, it's probably likely that just based on the media infrastructure that UTMB has, it's still going to, Western probably won't hold a candle to it. I'd have to go back and compare the notes on the live streams, but I'm pretty sure the UTMB one still will have significantly wider reach. But
UTMB,
the fact that the star power will be in the US in 25, pretty cool.
Yeah, super awesome. UTMB doesn't, they don't keep their race streams archived on like YouTube, so we can't see total UTMB view counts or anything like that, which is a bummer. Because I remember watching the finishes of UTMB and seeing like on the English channel, 20,000 people tuned in for the finish. Those are pretty big numbers, but yeah, it would be nice if there was like public just view counts so we could see and compare. I guess really what I want to see is them both grow.
I think the reason why Western, at least for the men's race, will be more compelling than UTMB, even if UTMB doesn't get filtered by the world champs, I think the reason why the men's race could be more compelling at Western is because I think we're going to look back at the 2025 Western States 100 and we're going to understand that it was a generational race. It was when all of the most familiar names at the top of the sport, they all came together and did battle. So Jim Walmsley, Hayden Hawks, Adam Peterman, David Roche, Jeff Mogavero, Rod Farvard, Peter Frano, Dan Jones, Caleb Olson, maybe Kilian Jornet. I guess that was news to me. I hadn't had a chance to listen to the pod yet, but so I think there's going to be this rallying cry. We still have 4 more golden ticket races left. Who knows who else comes out of the woodwork? But I think in the comparison that I put it to is the 2017 UTMB. I'm a little bit biased because that was the first one that I truly followed. But like, you look at that top 5 and the people in it, it was Jim, it was Francois, it was Kilian, it was Xavier, it was Pau Capel, it was Jim Walmsley, it was Dylan Bowman. Like the list goes on. Like that was a generation.
Tollefson,
Zach Miller. Also funny that a lot of those guys are still in the sport at the height of their powers, which is wild. But that was another similar, what I thought was like a generational defining field. And I think we're going to have that again here.
Yeah, and it was so dramatic too because the weather was super gnarly and there's all that stuff. Like I hope it's 110 degrees at Western States. Like I want the drama.
Well, that seems like that's been, if Kilian has an Achilles heel, because he really doesn't, but like it seems like the heat would be his biggest question mark, limiting factor. That's what I would guess. Just having the only real data being watching Unbreakable.
Yeah, with the also he was like 20 years old and looking at the aid state. He didn't start the race with a water bottle. He had no water on him because of how he was like, oh, the aid stations are so close together. I will be fine. I don't need to carry anything. He didn't realize what 100 degrees Fahrenheit felt like.
Yeah.
And you can actually see if you watch midway through Unbreakable, I think it's like past Last Chance or something like that. He starts, at the start, you can see he has nothing with him. And then halfway through, there's like an Aquafina bottle tucked into the back of his white spandex. And then that's all. Like, I think one of the aid station people was like, you insane person, you have to take this water bottle. And then he just has this plastic Aquafina. So I hope Kilian runs it back with not only the white spandex, but just an Aquafina bottle as well.
Wasn't there also, I love, again, Kilian is, I don't know if you already said this, but Kilian is so free. Similar to Courtney, Kilian is so free in the sense that whatever he decides is interesting, he does. He just did that Pyrenees trip. And then, I mean, a couple of years back, I think he hopped on the track and at least attempted, I think it was the 24 hour.
He tried the 24 hour. Yeah, I watched that.
So he's unencumbered. He would just, I think if we end up seeing Kilian on the Western start line, it's not out of obligation. It's not just like, I guess I have, like, it's not FOMO. I think he's just interested.
No,
right?
He doesn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson doesn't have to get in the ring anymore, but he just wanted to prove to himself that he could still do it.